Hi everyone, welcome to another story time.
Yay!
See me just a pretty man, just a pretty like Anansi. Look, here I'm showing you the story. This is the illustration of Anansi on the book, and I happen to find a dress that looked just like Anansi's. So, okay, today's story is how Anansi tricked his father.
Ooh.
When all had fallen silent, Nagavaro began again. Some will say that this is never really happened, but judge for yourself. Nagavaro was skilled at his craft, so he stood perfectly still until the restless shuffling and coughing had subsided. Arms by his side, he waited for a silent moment, then continued. There was a time long, long ago when our great and mighty sky god, Niami, and his son, our beloved Anansi, lived in the heavens. Together they made all that there is. Kawaki Anansi was so pleased with what he saw that he came down to earth to live with his people, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a spider. He listened to wonderful stories that were told by our people about anything and everything that you could imagine. Stories of green parrots, owls, and mischievous monkeys. Nagavara accompanied the names of each animal with the appropriate screech, hoot, or gibbering dance. Stories of bullfrogs, hornets, and creatures of all shapes and sizes, and Anansi loved them all and wished to own these tales. But his father kept them in his heaven for himself, only lending them out as he pleased. This didn't set good with Anansi, so he constantly asked Niami to present them to him as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. After all, I am your only son. And who better than I to guardian of these most excellent stories?
Mm-hmm.
Niami was not to be moved, however, replying, many great storytellers wish for the tales to be their own and hope for the fame that they will bring, so it will be better if I care for them myself.
Just like you.
Anansi would not let the matter rest. However, constantly pestering and plaguing his father to give him his fables until Niami knew that he would have to put a stop to the annoyance somehow. So the next time he was approached by the lisping Anansi, he declared, I'm not prepared to give you my precious stories for nothing, but I will give you 3 tests, and if you pass them, you may keep them for your own. Then Niami slipped in a little proverb to roughly his son, saying, a task from a strong man is worth 2 from a weak one, like you. But Anansi was not one bit ruffled. It seemed that his father didn't really know him. Niami thought if he made the trials quite impossible, Anansi would fail. And so, ashamed that he wouldn't dare to ask them again. Again, he didn't know his clever son. No, my son, your first task will be to bring me a ground full of wasp. Upon hearing this, the villagers clapped and whistled. They had heard this tale many times before, but they were always responded with anticipation for the way that Anansi would solve this dangerous mission. So Anansi chuckled and went straightway to Aso, asking to borrow the gourd that she used to water container. Poured away the water and set off to find wasp. wasp nest that was hanging from the branch of the tree. Sitting below, he began to sing over and over again. What will I tell my Lord when he asks how many wasps will fill the gourd? It didn't take long for a curious wasp to come flying down. What mischief are you up to, Anansi? No mischief. It's just that Lord Niami had given me a riddle to solve. And I don't know the answer. The wasp was too nosy to resist and came closer to ask. Tell me the riddle then. My father dared me to find out how many of your family would fit in the gourd. My father dared me to find out how many of your family would fit into the gourd. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the answer to that question can easily be solved. The wasp buzzed. My family will crawl in for you and you can count as we go. So he buzzed up to his relatives, and then Anansi's problem flew back and crawled into the gourd, followed by all his clan. One by one, Anansi counted them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and on, until the vessel was full and a voice cried out from inside, no more room! No more room! It's all full up in here! With no more room ado, Anansi placed a stopper over the entrance. The wasps were safely trapped. Scuttling in the courtyard of his father, our crafty friend presented Niami with the gourd of an angry wasp, who, as you know, have been angry to the very day. The sky god was taken aback, for he expected his son to fail. He showed no sign of his disappointment though, not making a resolve to beat Anansi with the second test. There still remains 2 more. So bring me Osobi, a leopard, the one some call tiger. Smiled Niami. The courtiers gasped, for Osebo was a skilled hunter and could easily kill Anansi with one blow of his paw. But Spider-Man was not perturbed, setting off straight away to find the spoor of this great cat. Finding a trail that smelled as though it was frequently used by Osobi, Anansi dug a deep hole and covered it with branches and large leaves and went home for his supper. Next day, he found a leopard trapped in the pit. Aha! You see how clever Anansi is?
Yeah.
Let's find out. With a touch of sarcasm in his voice, Anansi called down, Osebo, what on earth are you doing down there? Someone has set a trap for me. Please help me, Anansi, before they return to kill me. You must do me no harm if I help you. I swear on the name of Niami that I will only show you gratitude. Very well. Stand on your hind leg and reach up with your paws, and I will reach down and pull you up. Osebo did as he was bid, but instead of pulling him up, Anansi took a large stick and hit him on the head. At this moment in his tale, Nagavaro cried, whoops! And taking a posture as though about to leap down a hole, showed everyone how Anansi jumped down and wrapped the leopard up in web string. With help from his friends, Anansi carried Osebo to Niami, who said, you still have one more task. But he didn't smile this time. All I want you to do is to capture python and bring him to me alive and well. Is that all? Laughed Anansi. But he wasn't laughing inside, for he knew that Onini could gobble him down with one snap of his jaws. He really wanted Niami's stories though, so he set out for the forest to find the enormous snake. After 2 days of searching, he came upon a green tree python asleep, coiled around a branch. Oh my, it must be 30 feet long. Anansi found a bamboo tree and taking a cutlass, cut down the longest pole, dragged it and sat with it just below Onimi, singing over and over again. Cane or python, python or cane, is one longer or both the same? Onini slowly opened his eyes, flicked out his tongue and hissed, "What nonsense is this, brother Anansi? Are you asking to be eaten?" "Oh no, Onini. I'm just trying to solve a riddle that my father near me says is impossible to unravel." At the mention of Niami, the python opened the other eye, for even he feared the name of the powerful sky god. "How can I help the son of my lord?" The hypnotic voice of Onami had taken on a less threatening quality. "Well, Niami insists that no python had ever lived who was longer than the longest pole of bamboo." "Rubbish! Nothing is as long as Onini," boasted the python. "I don't doubt it, but to approve it to my father, perhaps we could measure you beside this piece of pole that I have cut down." "All right, I'll lay beside it and you'll see." Onini slithered down to the ground and lay still beside the woody stem. No, the pole is a good 2 feet longer than you." So Onini stretched and stretched. Nagavara stretched his arms into the air to make this point. No. Your tail keeps turning up. Let me tie it firmly." And Anansi took a vine and tied the python's tail to his bamboo. "Now stretch some more." So Onini stretched and stretched. The village children joined in by stretching their arms into the air. No, your belly keeps bending. Let me tie it firmly." And this Anansi did. "Now stretch some more and you should be taller than the pole." So Nini stretched and stretched. Everyone in the village stretched their arms high in the air. This was the moment. And Nancy kept onto Anini. Quickly tied a vine around his hissing head, and he was caught. Wow. And the audience whooped with delight. And Nancy had some difficulty dragging the python, but with the help from Aso, Takuma, and Toshi, the angry snake was finally presented to Naomi. "I never thought you would succeed," said Naomi, but deep down he was proud of his son and willingly parted with all of his stories. So Kewaku and Nancy used bravery and cleverness to become the owner of all the wonderful folk tales of Ashanti Nation. These stories were called Anansi after his name. Nagavara extended both palms towards his audience and said, "I have told a good tale, and now I'll tell no more. The
What?
end.
Yay!
Yay, yay.